My name is Marek Czajkowski. I'm a consultant gastroenterologist and hepatologist. It's a long time ago now, but I always liked meeting people. I remember when I was younger, I always enjoyed learning new things. I was quite fascinated in the sort of the natural world and science. I was also looking for sort of adventure, travel, and always being interested in something really. So you can do all of that as a doctor. I didn't really know many doctors when I was growing up. There were none in the family, so you don't have a clear idea, but over a period of time, it sort of began to realize that this is what suited all my interests most of all. Yeah, that's an interesting question. So in the UK, we train very generally, and then we become very specific. So I'm kind of still choosing my specialty, but it's been nearly 35 years since I went to medical school. But I guess when you're in medical school, all the best pictures in the textbooks are the sort of tropical diseases. You always used to turn to those. I was always interested in microbes and bugs and interesting things like that. I also I've always been very practical, so I enjoyed the practical skills aspect, but I wasn't really interested in being a surgeon. So I always quite like communicating with patients, particularly ones with sort of difficult, challenging problems. So really, the microbiome, when I was graduating, the microbiome in the gut was really the new frontier, and still actually remains the biggest frontier in medicine. So that's the fascinating part of gastroenterology. And then also hepatitis viruses were coming to the fore, and actually hepatitis C was sort of discovered whilst I was at medical school. So all these things were the sort of the fascinating frontier of medicine. And then obviously endoscopy was sort of allowed me to use my practical skills. And now we've grown to sort of becoming the endoscopic the changes in technology around endoscopy are huge, and in Wales we're sort of the most advanced sort of therapeutic hepatobiliary endoscopy centre is the one where I work. So that's sort of helped as well. And then I guess the topic itself, gastroenterology and hepatology is sort of, there's a lot of stigma. People don't like to talk about their bowel movements really to strangers, and I've always enjoyed that aspect of it. Being a sort of communicator, you're having quite sort of intimate conversations with people who are quite worried about their issues or what they think might be wrong with them. And so all these things sort of came together really, and the specialty that I filtered down into over the years is sort of suits all the things that I enjoy most, and I think I'm good at, I guess. Well, I think I've probably mentioned that. I mean, I think all people, nobody comes to their doctor unless they're worried. So the best thing is, people come with problems that they don't like to talk about, that they've often hidden, or that they're worried about. People, there's a lot of stigma attached to liver disease, or thinking that you might have liver disease. And it's really quite a privilege to be the person that people come to speak to. So I think a lot of the reward comes from being able to either reassure people that the symptoms that they're worried about, after a period of investigation are nothing to worry about necessarily, that they don't have anything very much wrong with them. Or if you do find something, that you can make a clear plan and discuss what's going to happen to them. And I guess this is, when you have time to spend with your patients and go through all these things carefully with them, that's the best bit, where you feel that the person's left their contact with you having, better off than when they arrived anyway. It's hard to say. We don't get a lot of feedback usually, but when I do get feedback, then it's usually, I think, people think I communicate clearly with them, that they feel that they have been listened to, and that there's no prejudice or discussion. I can talk about anything to anyone, and I'm quite practiced about that. I guess I would hope my patients value my experience. I've been doing this for a long time. I've worked in some of the busiest hospitals in the UK and in the world, in fact, and I bring a lot of different things, both from inside medicine, outside of medicine, all of which I try to sort of combine together. So I hope that's of value to my patients. As far as like I said already, I value my patients. I value the privilege that I have to speak about these things. And obviously, a lot of gastroenterology and hepatology is quite an intimate topic, really. So I guess I value most of the trust that people put in me to be able to deal with these problems with them. Obviously, you know, the scientist in me always enjoys the challenging cases where you have to involve other things, where you know you bring all your experience to bear, and sometimes you have to discuss things with colleagues or use the latest technology. You know, that's probably sometimes more rewarding for me than they do say that you know, you're in trouble when your doctor takes a special interest in you. But you know, the challenging cases are always the most interesting ones.